A long time ago, there was a couple who lived on the shores of Lake Muhazi. That part of Rwanda was abundant with all sorts of crops. Large herds of very healthy cattle decorated the gentle hills around the beautiful lake, which meandered in Buganza region. Life was heaven on earth for the young couple. However, their happiness was short-lived as the husband was unfaithful to his wife. Long before he got married, he had developed an insatiable urge for any woman he could lay his hands on. Soon, everybody, including his wife, knew of his indecent behavior and tried to dissuade him from it, but he could not listen to anyone. He frequently beat his wife thoroughly whenever she asked him about it. One day, as he was roaming the hills in pursuit of women, he met a hyena. The hyena told him, "You have just committed adultery with your friend's wife, eh?" Before the man could answer, the hyena went on, "Now you must repeat the same act with me right here and now, or I will eat you." The poor man obliged, and when the hyena was satisfied, she told the man, "This is not all. In case I become pregnant, you must take care of my baby." The man accepted without hesitating, after which the hyena allowed him to go. He was so frightened that he stayed indoors for several months. His wife and everyone in the village noticed that he had changed his behavior. Even when he finally decided to venture out, he chose to avoid the trail in which he met the hyena. But the hyena knew all the possible paths the man could use. So when she was about to give birth, she looked for her man and told him, "I am expecting your baby and I will give birth next month. You must bring me some presents." After 1 month, the hyena waylaid her man and told him, "I gave birth to a baby girl. You must come and see her with many presents." One fine morning, the man carried many presents and went to see his daughter. He marveled when he noticed that the baby was a very cute girl that was his own replica. He offered the presents to her mother amid terse and terrifying instructions such as, "My child must neither be caned nor slapped. Nobody should even attempt to throw a stone at my child. I will promptly eat you all the moment I hear that my child is either scorned or mistreated in any way." The man agreed unconditionally and was allowed to go home. 2 years later, the hyena looked for the man again, and this time she told him, "Your daughter is big enough. You must take her with you now." So the man took his daughter and presented her to his wife, who did not bother to ask whose child it was because she knew her husband's behavior. In any case, he would not have told her the truth. However, the man clearly explained to his wife how the child should be treated, to which the wife agreed. The girl resembled any ordinary human being, and in fact, her beauty surpassed by far any other girls in the village. By the time she was about 12, she could look after her father's cows. One evening, her stepmother noticed that one cow was missing. The stepmother asked what had happened to the cow, but the girl kept quiet. When her stepmother reported the incident to her husband, he simply answered that he already had too many cows, and that she should not worry whenever only one of them could not be traced, though he knew his daughter had actually eaten the animal. One day, when the stepmother was out of the house, he advised his daughter to behave like human beings by taking good care of cows. The girl agreed. They both promised each other to keep as top secret the fact that her mother was a hyena. From then onwards, she followed her parents' advice and acquired dancing skills and other valuable social graces. She attracted considerable admiration from many young men. Her melodious voice was unequaled, and people marveled whenever she danced. By the time she was 18, even her parents had become famous in that region because of their daughter's meticulous approach to whatever she did. She became exemplary and an idol to all her colleagues. It did not come as a surprise when many young men started competing for her hand in marriage. She finally accepted the land's most handsome and well-behaved young man as her future husband. In those days, after the dowry had been paid, it was customary for the bridegroom to pick his bride from his father-in-law's homestead. He would be accompanied by his own father as well as other close relatives and friends. In return, the bride's parents and friends would accompany the girl to her new home. It was a sunny morning when the bridegroom came to pick his bride. Both parties were well prepared for the event, such that very little time was spent at the bride's homestead. The bride's father accompanied her daughter amidst songs and dances. Then he shouted, "My daughter, remember to keep the secret." Some people stared at him but soon forgot what he had said and continued singing. After a few hours he shouted again, "My daughter, remember to keep the secret." This time, some people started mumbling, not knowing what to say. The bride's father remained on one side of the hill and let the procession cross a valley to climb the hill just opposite him, singing all along. Once the procession had reached a parallel level to where he was standing, he repeated the same message at the top of his voice. "My daughter, remember to keep the secret." This brought the music to an abrupt halt amid echoes of the same instruction that lasted for a few seconds. The procession stopped and wondered about what was wrong with the man. However, when they saw him walking back to his village, they resumed singing and continued their journey. Although few people paid attention to the bride's father, the secret worried the bridegroom's father more than anything else. After the festivities, he called his daughter-in-law and sought to know what the secret was, to which she said that she would find time to tell him. Weeks, months and years passed as he kept asking his daughter-in-law what the top secret was. One day she told her father-in-law that she would reveal the secret after giving birth to her third child. The old man was patient, and when he saw her giving birth to her third child, he was so happy that he offered her a cow. After a few days, he went to his daughter-in-law and found her talking to the newborn. She knew exactly what he wanted. After offering him some wine, she told him, "The day after tomorrow, in the evening, please come so that I may tell you the secret. I know that you have been patient for a very long time." The old man was so excited that he could hardly sleep till the day of revelation. Meanwhile, the daughter-in-law prepared some wine. On the promised day, she served the wine in the early afternoon such that her husband and his friends would get drunk by the time the old man arrived. It was a delicious wine. Her husband's friends kept reminding him how lucky he was for marrying such a wife. The husband marveled on hearing such praises, for he knew that she was even more beautiful than they thought. Soon the old man came. His daughter-in-law ushered him into a separate room to avoid any disturbance. He was offered some wine, and on the first sip, the old man confessed that it was the best wine he had ever tasted since he started drinking alcohol. A smile from his daughter-in-law made the wine even more delicious. He felt very lucky and privileged. Then she closed the door to the room and all of a sudden stripped herself naked and became a hyena. Immediately, flames started burning from both her mouth and bottom. The fire-spitting hyena started growling at the poor old man who, in return, screamed for help. Nobody heard his screams because everyone was drunk and asleep. The hyena exhaled one powerful flame that threw the old man down. Using her strong claws, she picked him up and made him sit upright. She gave him a long stare to remind him that he asked for it. She then turned the other way and exhaled an even stronger flame from her bottom that blew the old man to the wall and kept him breathless before collapsing. She dressed, regained her human form, and joined her husband, who was already asleep. Her husband had drunk so much wine that evening that he did not know what happened to his father. However, he managed to wake up early to wish him a good morning. He could not believe his eyes when he saw the old man stretched on the floor, dead,